You ever look at your collection of slip joint knives and modern folders and wonder what would happen if a mad scientist decided to splice their DNA? No? Of course not. Knives don't have DNA. Some of them have bones, though. Anyway, if you had thought that Case Russlock might be perfect for you. The blade is about 2 3/4 inches long. It's made out of Case's True Sharp stainless. There are a couple versions available in chrome vanadium if you prefer carbon steel. The blade is shaped like Woody the Woodpecker. It's a pretty cool looking clip point blade with an extended tang piece that allows you to open the knife with one hand. The blade is thin, so it cuts things pretty well. Opening the knife one-handed is pretty easy once you get used to it. You kind of have to use your thumb and pointer finger as a team to open the knife. This Russlock is a Shepherd Hills Cutlery exclusive in purple synthetic cover material. It has either nickel silver or stainless steel liners that will scratch up the blade tang from opening and closing the knife. I think most of the Russlocks have brass liners, but I could be wrong. As the name might imply, this knife does have a lock, a liner lock. The liner lock doesn't actually contact the blade tang, but that's pretty normal on these old style liner locks. The knife still has a back spring to help keep the blade open, so it doesn't really bother me. Some size comparisons: a Case Trapper, a Victorinox Pioneer, the Spyderco Para 3, and the Ziploc bag of bottle caps makes its triumphant return. So in conclusion, the Case Russlock is a pretty usable, traditional kind of style knife that you can open and close with one hand. It does lock open for people who are looking for that. The knife is small enough to fit in your pocket without really giving you any kind of issue. You kind of forget it's there until you need it. I ended up liking the knife so much I'm actually getting another Russlock, this time with bone covers. I think I need to stop ordering case knives with the synthetic covers. They just don't really excite me that much. So this knife's probably going to get replaced by a bone cover Russlock, and I believe I'm getting that in a raspberry bone. This will probably go to my friend Michael because both of our favorite colors is purple. That's why I originally bought this knife, but the synthetic covers just don't really excite me. But anyway, overall, the knife's a pretty good knife. The only thing that I did to this knife after getting it was I peened, I believe they call it, the pivot because the blade had quite substantial side-to-side play. So you might be able to see the pivot pin sticking out a little bit from me pounding on it with a hammer so it would stop having blade play. Other than that, I haven't really done a whole lot to this knife because other than that, it was pretty much perfect. There was a slight gap between the back spring and one of the liners. That's stuff that doesn't really bother me. The main thing that bothers me is blade play. So overall, the Case Russlock, really usable knife. It's around $50. You can get it in either chrome vanadium or True Sharp. I don't really have a problem with having a Russlock and True Sharp for whatever reason, but most of the other case knives that I like are in chrome vanadium. So I think I prefer chrome vanadium, but for whatever reason, I don't really care if I have a Russlock and chrome vanadium. So anyway, this knife cost me around $50 on Amazon. I ordered it from Shepherd Hills Cutlery on Amazon, which is kind of neat that you can do that. Because like I said, it's one of their exclusives. So anyway, if you feel like trying out a new pattern or you feel like trying out a quote-unquote traditional knife, but you're used to having a modern locking folder that you can open with one hand, the Case Russlock's probably a pretty good venture into that experience. I don't know. I don't know how to say that. It's a good way to try out a more traditional knife.